It's official, really, yes. It's quite sad in a way, isn't it? Because when you think about it, it's the programme that many people apparently like to watch, to hate, you know, the sort of thing. Well, we're talking, of course, about Meghan Markle and her ill-fated brand new deal with Netflix. You know, the one where it gives her an opportunity to see if it's the right fit. I do love publicity speak, chums, you know, because I've dealt in it in many years. And you do come away thinking, no, you've been dumped, love. Just admit it and then say it didn't quite work, but you hope to revitalise it and perhaps come up with something else. The thing is, though, inadvertently, Meghan has told the world, in fact, well, this as ever. Let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. Thank you so much for your time today and welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Lovely to have your company. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because the other day we had I enjoyed it anyway, a wonderful story about the brilliant and late and very beautiful, in my opinion, Doris Day. Glad so many of you enjoyed that. Love Doris Day. You just know her voice, isn't it gorgeous, soothing, and what a terrific catalogue of wonderful songs that she had. And it just goes to show that even if you're Doris Day, not everything is a hit. Remember, she only went to TV because she had so many debts left to her by her husband. Remember, terribly tragic life story, Doris Day, you know, and eventually what you have to do in the world of show business is reinvent yourself. So she openly said, I'll do television, but on my terms, and you're going to pay this because I've got debts to clear. Some people might say, of course, the likes of Meghan Markle should have simply done the same thing. Given wonderful golden opportunities, I mean unbelievable opportunities by the main leading players. And if you play this right when you first start out, this is where it becomes vital, because if you're signed to a big record label, you know, the big RCAs and all of that sort of stuff, they're willing to pay for your services because they believe that you can make them lots of money. That's the point. That's the reason why Netflix signed Meghan Markle, and that was the whole deal, right? That was the deal. It wasn't about anything she wanted to do, or a polo show or a cooking show. Couldn't care less about that. They decided that the real story was that they were going to get the big thing. And they got it more or less in one sort of nutshell. But of course, they didn't go to plan because Netflix were very annoyed that they decided to give him more bombshells, like the gender reveal, as the kids call it today, to Oprah Winfrey. Remember, that should have been on the Netflix show. People forget that, right? Here is where it gets interesting because, as you know, Meghan popped up on Fortune recently, peddling a, what exactly? I make jams and it's difficult and gives you a lot of info but none, and you think you have no idea how to run a business. Now, why should she? She was a jobbing actress who married rich, and Prince Harry is clueless about business. He has never done anything independently. He's told where to go, what to wear, who he's going to meet, get your medals on, make sure you smile, behave, don't look bored. That's the job, right? So he's very good at that job. If you tell him what to do, he can deliver. Meghan Markle is another person where, as long as you give her some kind of script, she can follow it. But even with her own show, she couldn't follow the basic outline script. She couldn't really interact with her guests. She didn't really know how to make it fun. And they thought, let's slap on a happy clappy soundtrack and that will cover up all the mistakes. Then it bombed. Netflix knew it bombed, she knew it bombed, there was no second series, and now, next month, in the middle of November apparently, we're going to get this holiday special. You see, Meghan, though, has just let the cat out of the bag, to coin a phrase from her own phraseology. Remember that at the start of the year? Cat's out of the bag. Lots of interest in my jam. Right, not that much interest though, love. Now, what's interesting here is, you see, she's let out in a press release that, in fact, the person that's now gone, the publicist, Miss Robinson, right? Well, apparently it came to the end of her contract, working on as ever. So that means the show has ended. So I put a call into Netflix and said, is there anything more on the slate? Are you developing anything more with Archwell, whatever? Very cautiously, they didn't want to talk. However, I have good inside contacts in Netflix. There is nothing. They're not planning to work on anything else. Yes, there's this floating around idea about Harry and the Diana documentary, but that's still very much up in the air. Harry really wants to push the fact that he wants to get something going with him again regarding Invictus. That's what he's slowly pushing at. But as for Meghan Markle, by letting this out and putting it into the media stratosphere of saying, well, the contract ended because her time on As Ever had come to conclusion. Well, that's really the conclusion of the Netflix deal. And Meghan, whether she wanted to deliberately or not, has told the world it's over. It's now time for beauty. Remember, you have been warned. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.